Now, the movie Beowulf has just been released. It's a 3D monster-slaying extravaganza based on the ancient Anglo-Saxon poem. I've been on a quest to get to the heart of the original epic. Could a 1,000-year-old poem really have any relevance to modern life?
Who are you? I am Beowulf, son of Ecgtheow.
Is that Ray Winston? Maybe he could be my entree to the Anglo-Saxon world.
I'm here to kill your monster. The character of Beowulf kind of reminded me of, politicians today, if you like, or even actors, because he's this honourable man who's a warrior, and a brave man, who starts to believe his own publicity. He's like an actor who reads, papers and everyone's saying how good he is. And then, ambition and greed comes in. You want something else, like a kingdom or somebody else's queen. And it kind of makes him into the monster. It tears him apart. He becomes the monster, And so I kind of came into it from that direction when I was working on it.
Why isn't Beowulf sort of held up as a hero? Why isn't he a national treasure?
I think he was one of the first. So this is what I'm told, because I never read the books. But he was kind of one of the first kind of superheroes. The early days superheroes. 1,000 years ago, he would have been.
Yeah.
And kind of everything what they say in literature was based on that. When you read these comic books, it's where it all kind of comes from. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It's what somebody else told me.
Do you think he could have the Incredible Hulk?
Beowulf. He could have anyone.
In the film, Beowulf slays the monster Grendel, but is undone by his lust for Grendel's mum. Traditionally a monstrous hag, she's become somewhat more cinema-friendly.
Show yourself! What are you?
You've rewritten the story, and Grendel's mother has become a temptress.
We see several different versions of Grendel's mother. She is a shapeshifter. And we get to see her as a giant lizard at one point in there. You get to see her as this sort of monstrous creature with a number of teeth when she's seen by Beowulf in a dream. But we always wanted her to be the embodiment of temptation.
Are you the one they call Beowulf?
I think myth is vital. Because they tell us huge and important things. Something like Beowulf, it's not important that it tells us, it doesn't tell us that dragons exist. What's important is it tells us that dragons can be defeated. And that's a huge true thing. It may be coated in myth, it may be coated in story, but the truth is you can defeat your dragons, and that's a really good, important thing to be told.
Do we need more heroes today?
Well, I think all men and all leaders do contend it with their Grendel's mother, or their version of it in some capacity.
I think I'm with the Stranglers. I am on the no more heroes side, or at least the idea, or possibly on the Bowie side of, when everyone's a hero, then no one's a hero.
Dragons and legends have never really done it for me, but I can see the pure escapist appeal of myths from the nonsense and drudgery of life. Maybe the original pure Anglo-Saxon poem would hold more of that escape.
Ich roedd Carzar ond ombicht. Nes eich elthewdig y thws man y gremen, mod I lich ran.
The Oxford academic Tom Paulin might be able to unlock the poem.
Na les for raxidum.
When you pick up something like Beowulf, and you're not really across Anglo-Saxon poetry, it's not a huge hobby. Where do you start? How do you start to get into it? How do you start to get some meaning from it?
What you get in Anglo-Saxon poetry is a sense of the deep tidal pull of our language. The texture of the verse is so strong. And of course the verse comes out of oral tradition, but just fortunately it was written down in one surviving manuscript. And what you have really is the idea of this poem having a community, and the community is the mead hall where warriors are drinking and celebrating and having their deeds celebrated by the poet.
First for the wildflower was on Udam, Gat und Belge, Launische Augen und Steven Stiggen Stram, Swindelsund with thunder.
Seamus Heaney has done, I think, a very brilliant translation. The great thing about the poem is the sense of wilderness. I mean, the whale road, the gannet's bath, the phrases that are used for the sea. And then you've got crags and screes and marshes and deep dark meres and rivers. There really is a sense of wilderness. We're very near the beginnings of our culture.
I mean, why do you think Beowulf hasn't been appropriated by the more nationalist elements in England?
I think out of ignorance, really. It may be that it will become the English Braveheart, but I profoundly hope not.
There's a raw masculinity which runs throughout the poem. Beowulf follows this bloodthirsty, heroic code where it's always better to avenge dear ones than to indulge in mourning. Just a million miles away from today's emasculated male. I mean, Beowulf goes avenging and I do yoga. Not a spot of yogic flying for the Natural Law Party, but a trip through the virtual world Second Life to meet a cult author who's written a novel based on the Beowulf film. The real Caitlin Kiernan is interview shy. She'd only agree to meet me in cyberspace.
Okay, the only greeting I've got is a hula dance, so I'm doing a little bit of hula dancing to greet her. Is it almost part of the human condition to have a need for myths like Beowulf? She says, yes, it's absolutely essential to the human condition. We all are, almost by definition, creatures of myth and legend. Whether we use them or try and make more sense of the world around us, or whether we use them as a means of escape, they give our lives a greater meaning. So what might we draw from Beowulf for our lives today? I think there was a sentiment, I can't recall who first expressed it, kill your heroes. I don't agree with that at all. The world needs heroes, and maybe it needs them now more than ever. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about monsters or dragons or global warming or corrupt politicians. There must be people willing to stand up and fight, or to create and tell stories that will inspire others to stand up and fight. However, there is also a cautionary tale in this retelling of Beowulf. Power corrupts, and the more glory and power one accepts, the easier it is to make truly terrible mistakes. So that's what I would say you should take away from Beowulf.
Spending so much time in Second Life, you can see how myths have almost subsumed reality. But I can start to understand why there's an appeal, even in Anglo-Saxon poetry. Of course, you'd never admit to anything so poncy.
Beowulf is min nama.